Hi, I'm Ed Merrison from CellarHand. I'm here in the vineyards of the Mornington Peninsula with Frédéric Blanck from Domaine Paul Blanck in Alsace. We're just having a look at his 2019 Pinot Gris. Now, before we talk about Pinot Gris, just give us a little overview of the 2019 vintage for you guys in Alsace.
2019 was quite a good vintage, as we had the rainfalls whenever we needed them to be there. We get very nice temperatures, a bit warm in the summer, but then the after season, from mid-August to end of September, it was just perfect temperatures. The crop was not so big, so it's a 60% of a normal crop to 70%, say. So it's, for us, it means for a wine like the Pinot Gris is going to be 5-6 tons per hectares, with 6,000-7,000 vines per hectare. So it's an okay one.
But no one cares about your quantities. What they care about is the quality.
Yeah,
and it's a lovely vintage.
Yeah, it's a lovely vintage.
And we've got 2019 and 2020 at the moment from Freddie over here in the market in Australia. Both lovely vintages of, really just well-developed fruit flavours, good depth, and lovely freshness to them all.
So it's not only a lovely vintage, it's also a lovely wine.
It is, yeah. So tell us about Pinot Gris in Alsace. What's the importance of this wine for you guys in terms, and how do you grow it well?
So we grow Pinot Gris since a long time in Alsace. On Pinot Gris, for the story, you get Pinot Gris in Germany, it's called Grauburgunder. You get Pinot Gris in Italy, it's called Pinot Grigio.
And you get it here on the Mornington Peninsula.
And you get it also
as
here.
Pinot Grigio or
it's
Pinot
called Pinot Grigio. It's not called Pinot Grey or Grey Pinot Gris. You should Grey Pinot. Yeah. So on all these Pinot Gris growing in different places produce a different wine. Just because the people are also, what we say in another video, the people are a bit different. So in Italy, a Pinot Grigio will be much more a dry, bone dry wine. So picked quite early with 12.5 degrees. Where us in Alsace, we're just waiting a bit longer, and we're going to start peak Pinot Gris with 13.5. So the wine gets a bit more spicy, and we don't look to build him absolutely bone dry, but is still a dry wine with less acidity than Rieslings, Pinot Blanc, for example, or Chenin also. So less acidity than that, but a different flavor. So much more, lots of flavor on the palate, a bit more discreet on the nose, but you get more spices than in other grapes variety.
Yeah, I mean, I see from this 2019, I mean, obviously looking at varieties such as Riesling, where you have, the aromas really jumping out the glass, you don't really expect that from Pinot Gris so much. They're a little bit more subdued, but at the same time, you have this lovely depth in these wines at that ripeness level that Freddie's talking about here in Alsace. For me, the sort of almost orange tone fruits here. Obviously a lot of ripe stone fruits as well, but a little bit of a hint of a sort of tangerine-y, kumquat stuff. But as you say, the spice is really important. You feel that right the way through the palate with this wine. And it's, as you say, like with that richness, it's not as linear as say a Riesling, I guess, or as crisp as a Pinot Grigio style. But at the same time, it's got that lovely expansiveness across the palate that really just builds and gives you lots of flavour right through the palate still.
Absolutely.
And what kind of food would you tend to drink it at?
With this kind of Pinot, with this Pinot Gris, you go easy on white meat, like chicken, even duck breast. You can go on duck breast, on all type of Asian or spicy food.
Yeah, I mean,
you go very easy on that.
Yeah.
And of course, cheese. The cheese are always very important for the French guys.
Yeah, of course.
So you can try with any kind of cheese also.
Yeah, I mean, again, as you say, it's that the sweetness of the fruit, the ripeness of the fruit gives you those, ripe apricots, ripe peach, ripe pear fruit, also as well. And you can really imagine that really cutting
on seafood, of course.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, the other thing I suppose sometimes forget, 90% of roughly Alsace wine is white. 90% of your estate is white wine as well. So you're looking at pairings with white wines that perhaps you'd normally associate with red wines in other areas, and you guys have learnt that that extra body, that extra flavour, that extra depth and roundedness in some of
Yeah.
these wines is really helpful at the table.
Exactly, because we have the experience of the white and the red.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of lots of region in France, they just have the experience of the red wine, so they don't know what about the white wine. So that give us more possibility.
Yeah.
At the end.
So that's it. That's the 2019 Paul Blanck Pinot Gris from Frédéric Blanck here. Freddy, cheers.
Cheers.